So good afternoon, thank you for having me here. My family name is 𝗣𝗿𝗀𝗀 and it actually means the beach with the birch trees. So it's a place on the northwest coast of Norway. It's an island where the beach is actually called 𝗣𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗀. So that's where the name comes from. And I can also prove that I'm a real Viking because I got this Viking finger that sticks up like this. And that's a genetic error in the Vikings, and you find it also in the UK because, you know, the Vikings, when they had magic mushroom on Friday night, they got crazy and horny, and they were just rowing across to the UK and raping and plundering. So that's so some of you might have the same finger. My closest, I did a DNA test, and my closest DNA matches are in Scotland. No wonder. Strange. Okay, so I'll start with a little video.
The world is full of information. Most is fleeting, but some needs to last for a long time without changing, without failing, without disappearing. How long will your information last?
It's different, but it's very pretty out here.
Piql's mission is to keep your information alive, secure, and ensure access for the future. That's what drives us every day.
The spirit of brotherhood among man into an indefinite future.
Piql's unique and sustainable technology from Norwegian innovators repurposes a known storage medium, film, to carry digital information, allowing data to live for any length of time with guaranteed future access. With Piql, your information can be stored both online and offline, offering you the best instant access and incredible longevity. Our high-quality digital transformation services can help you manage your archive and remonetize your content. This end-to-end service is unlike any you'll find, combined with expert knowledge and tailored services to suit your needs. And of course, compliant with international archival standards. With Piql's online platform, Piql Connect, you have total control and easy access to your offline and online information. It's intuitive and easy to use. In just a few clicks, you can upload and download your information, decide what stays online, what is written to piqlFilm, and where your offline data is physically stored, at your own location, in a secure local Piql facility, or in the ultimate safe location, the Arctic World Archive, our exclusive offering. Here, information will live on for centuries, for the benefit of future generations.
Piql is the best solution available in the market to preserve and store valuable media in the long term.
Storing the material in a digital way for an ultra-long period of time is vital for us. When I got introduced to Piql, as time has shown, they have really come through in a good way.
This is the dream of the dream. It's an example of the people that are thinking for the future, for the next generation, not only today.
The world relies on information. Make yours last. Piql it and be sure it will be there no matter what.
Okay, so I'm the founder, managing director of Piql. I'm an engineer in my heart, economist in my head, and in between I'm an inventor, so I also invented... Can you hear me? I also invented these technologies. So we are Norwegian, we are located 40 kilometers southwest of Oslo. We basically do three things. We protect sensitive and critical data against any digital and physical threat. We archive records, administrative documents, so they can be authentic and accessible, and we preserve cultural heritage and memory for the benefit of future generations. So we are a technology company, but we deliver a service. So a little bit about our legacy. My background is an engineer, and I always loved the movies, and then we got this crazy idea to make a film recorder. And the film recorder transferred digital content to 35mm film for use in the cinemas. And we basically disrupted that industry and got into Hollywood and Bollywood and made the most beautiful pictures on film. But as you know, film on cinema ended basically by Avatar coming in 3D. And that basically changed the world in a couple of years from film reels to digital projectors. So we were looking at how could we deploy our technology for some different, solve some different problems. So now in Piql we have a philosophy that information only lasts if we actively do something to make it last. And we have basically 4 very unique things. And I will talk about these 4 things in more detail. So we have the most secure data storage medium, which is there today, non-hackable, immutable, the film that you have in your hand, my business card, the ultimate insurance policy for the client's data. The film is in principle the same as was invented by the Lumiere brothers or by George Eastman when he created Kodak, although it's a brand new film. It's a silver halide nano film. And the very unique thing with the film that you might have seen already is that you can combine the storage of human-readable visual information with computer-readable information in the form of super high-resolution QR codes. So that gray frame is a super high-resolution QR code. The second thing, it's also the most durable and long-term storage medium. We have been developing this technology for more or less 15 years, and all along that journey we have invested a lot in testing and documenting the durability and longevity of the medium. So we've been through a lot of accelerated aging, and the film is very unique in the sense that it's self-descriptive and self-contained, and the self-contained aspect, I will come back to that as well. So this basically is, I would say, maybe the only solution that can give you guaranteed access to authentic data in the future. Tested it for 1,000 years longevity, not by us, but by third-party laboratories, where they have accelerated age through increasing temperature and humidity. And based on my research, I guess this is one of the more extensive testings of a storage medium in this world. I mean, film has proven itself to carry information from the past 150, 60 years, visual information, but we had to test it from scratch because we wanted to store data.
So can you go back a little bit on this, the word before you put up the information?
Which one?
Back one more click. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So the third element is also, since it's a migration-free storage medium, it's also the most sustainable out there. And this, of course, is a passive medium. It requires no energy, no electricity. And if you store it in the right place, no cooling. So it's completely passive. So the consequence is that it has the lowest carbon footprint of any data storage technology.
It needs some energy when you make it.
Sorry?
It will need some energy when you make the picture.
Yes, of course, you need to expose it. But I mean, we looked at the whole life cycle analysis, actually, from even producing the medium to getting rid of it in the end. The fourth element, which I will also talk about if we have time, is our initiative in the Arctic, which is a repository for world memory, which is actually a vault to store information to secure it for future generations. All right. So the whole fundament for everything we do is basically this data storage solution that you have in your hand. And the whole idea with that is actually to enable a service. And the service is to protect data against time itself. And I mean, time in this perspective is aging and obsolescence of technology, and against any kind of physical and digital threats. Cyber attacks, cyber war, electromagnetic weapons. And the value proposition is that information and data remains accessible in its authentic form now and in the future, and you can get it back without any need for specific technologies or vendors. All of this will, of course, be explained.
Surely, if the meaning of the words changes, as language develops, the data that you've stored this year might not be readable in 1,000 years' time because the language has changed, the meaning of words has changed. The same way that we misread Anglo-Saxon text. No, we can't read it because it's Anglo-Saxon, but some of the concepts have changed markedly in meaning over the last millennia or so.
Yeah, I agree, and I come to that. We've been thinking about that as well. So I think you gentlemen, you are in this domain, so you know there is a massive... Gentlemen and ladies, sorry. Ladies. You are from this industry, so I don't think I need to spend too much time on this, the digital transformation. Huge challenge to manage data, to protect data, to make sure data is available in its authentic form. It's not only me, but somebody more famous than me, Warren Buffett, that actually says that, and that's interesting in these days, that cybercrime is a bigger threat to humankind than nuclear weapons. And this year...
Definitive, anyway.
Sorry?
It's less definitive than nuclear weapons, anyway.
Yeah. And I don't know if you have heard about this figure, but I mean, cybercrime is now significantly bigger than the illegal trade with drugs. So now, this year, it's expected to cost the world $10.5 trillion. So it's a huge cost, cybercrime. And when we started with the small initial research on this technology back in 2010, and looked 10 years ahead, we believed at that time we saw an exponential growth of data. That is nothing compared to what we have ahead of us the next 10 years. So what we see in Piql is that there is more risks to information, both in physical form and digital form than ever. And I mean, it's not too far away from here. We have a war where Russia is actively destroying Ukrainian cultural heritage and memory. And so our message is to take action, to not lose important information, to reduce the risk of being put out of operation, to reduce the risk of financial loss, and if worse go for worse, to ensure that you can get back in operation as soon as possible. So, I mean, I think you're all aware of the massive carbon footprint of data storage, and I think organizations are becoming more and more conscious about reducing their carbon footprints of their IT operations. So our proposal is to make sure that your company, your institution, your organization is not losing trust or credibility amongst your stakeholders. Take action to protect data. I would also say that, I mean, you didn't know too much about us, and Piql is not for everybody. That's maybe why we are not so known, because we are for very special people. We are not a commodity. We are not for everybody everywhere, but we are for those that really care and that really understands that their data has a value, either in the future, because they want to bring some information into the future for some kind of reason, and that reason could be economic, it could be technical, it could be strategic. It's a lot of reasons. Initially we thought about archives, but we learned that there is more and more reasons why organizations and society wants to bring information into the future. And the other group is those that really need to make sure that whatever might happen, they will have their data available, in case there is a disaster, a cyber attack, or something that really puts them out of operation. So, it's basically three needs where Piql makes a difference. We started our journey in the archival domain, and that is actually to take anything that typically is archived, like documents, like records, like manuscripts, like books, like photos, like audiovisual content, like art, even monuments in 3D that you want to preserve and bring into the future. We take care of that and make sure that that happens, and make sure that that is guaranteed available in its authentic form up to several thousand years from now. The other element where we see a huge need is within the domain of operational resilience, to protect business critical and society critical data against the really emerging and fast growing threats around us. I mean, who hasn't been exposed to hackers? Who hasn't been exposed to ransomware? And the third element, which we think is becoming more and more important, is actually to to think about the sustainability aspect. We are actually attending a conference in Norway these days, and there was a guy presenting some recent statistics that says that 60% of data in data centers that are actively migrated is actually passive data, cold data. So our proposal is to offload that from fossil fuel-based data center to something which is migration-free and passive, like the piqlFilm.
But you're keeping this stuff forever, effectively.
Yeah.
How can you guarantee that your storage in the Arctic, Norway, in the next millennium or so, could become a fascist state? It could become a state like Islamic State, which actually tried to destroy pre-Islamic culture.
Sorry, but does it even make sense to discuss what's going to happen in a...
I cannot guarantee that. Yeah. It's a very philosophical question.
Sorry?
It's a very philosophical question, right? Yeah, I cannot really guarantee that.
Obviously, to keep stuff forever, you have to worry about the fact that no human institution will stick around that long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm coming back to this as well, but I mean, you should never only keep one copy of your data.
Okay.
All right, so who would keep time for me? Because I might lose myself. You will keep time, yeah. Okay, so I mean, because we have been lucky enough, we have invested 45 million euro to do this thing. It's crazy.
How much?
45 million euro. And I didn't have that. We made some money from the motion picture thing we did, but luckily we got a lot of research funding from Norway and the European Union, so we've been able to invest in this.
I'm sorry, well, talking about the funding, since you went down that road, 25 million euro, where did that come from?
That's what I'm coming to. So when we started filing the application for the first project funding for the Eurostars program in the European Union in 2009, there was 0.8 zettabyte, which is 1 trillion gigabyte in the world. And when we looked ahead at that time, you know, the figure after 10 years was like 24, then it was 35, and then it was 46, and it ended up to be 59. So they were always trying to make predictions about the amount of data, but they were always far too low. So now this year it's supposed to be 175 zettabyte, and I told you we are not approaching all those data. We are focusing very clearly on 3 niche needs in the market: archival and preservation domain, which is more than big enough for us and many other specialist players; the operational resilience domain, which is growing; and a domain that we think people will become more and more conscious about, actually their sustainability aspects of their storage. That's where Piql has its focus. That's where we meet our clients and help to find solutions. Coming back to the technology. I told you the film in principle is the same film as this film, one of the world's first film, The Horse in Motion. This has been reliably carrying information from the past to the present the last 150, 60 years. And a few weeks ago, I was in Paris, and we did a proof of concept for a major institution in France with a film that was shot by the Lumiere brothers in the 1900s. And it was amazing super quality. How that film has been carrying the quality for 125 years is just amazing. So, we thought this is a good idea to use that information carrier, because we learned everything about the film when we started in the motion picture domain. So we converted that, but also made the brand new film to be able to store bits and bytes. So we do that in that gray frame on the top. And since it's a QR code, which is a bit stream stored as a QR code, we can store anything. We can do a 3D scan of you with your nice red shirt, and put you on this flat film and bring you to life in the future. Yes?
The visual representation is purely a thumbnail, that's not like a high-def image, right?
It can be a high-resolution image. I mean, the data frame is a 4K frame, if that tells you anything. I mean, it's 8.8 megapixel, so it can be a high-res image. In this case, we did a super high-resolution 3D scan of Mona Lisa. But we are using a black and white film, and that is because of the longevity properties of the film. It has far better longevity properties than any other like color film. The gray frame above is the full Mona Lisa in its beauty and its color. the TIFF file.
But then it means that you can embed, you have the data, you have the carrier of the media, and then you can provide any kind of instructions in a readable format for people to interpret the data, right?
Yes, now you're answering his questions. So here is another example. This is a TIFF file, super high resolution world map in color. Again, a black and white representation. The gray frame above, where you now see magnification of the top right corner, that is the super high res QR code. So that is an 8.8 million data points that can be in black and white, but not only black and white, also shades of gray. So that's where we store the bits and the bytes. And I have a light table and a magnifying glass with me, so that if you want to take a look later on the real film, you can do that.
A question, because the film is photosensitive, how do you tackle with the problem of the possible overexposition to the light?
So that's a very good question. Yeah, I mean, you need to know film you need to know. Yeah. The thing is, first of all, the exposure is very much controlled, because also we expose the film. I'm coming to that as well. But it's actually self-regulating, because we read back every single file, every single data frame, we read it back. And then based on the error rates, we can say if the exposure was good or bad. Yeah. So.
I'm sorry. You said that you write it, you read it back, you validate the error rates.
Yeah.
But this is a write-only medium. So how do you basically you're storing data that is quote unquote bad if you show that the error rates are too high.
If the error rates is too high, we reject the film.
So you're cutting the film and splicing it together, essentially.
No. I mean, first of all, I mean, we have control of this process at the outset. I mean, he's asking a good question. If you overexpose it, and if you do overexpose it, it could end up the error rates are too bad, and then we have to write a new film.
But it must be read as well, otherwise what's the problem?
I'm coming to all this. Because I know all your questions, so if I can just...
Try us.
Okay, no, I mean, these questions, the basic questions on the technology, I will explain it. Of course, you have a lot of good questions. So, a little bit detail. How is the QR code generated? So, basically, a super fast computer inside the writing machine is fed with a bit stream. The data that is going to be protected or preserved. So the QR codes are generated by this computer and again fed to a light modulator, a device which is actually modulating, controlling the light which is going to the film. And that light modulator is a Texas Instrument DMD chip, if you ever heard about that. Sometimes you find them in these projectors. It's not in this one, because then the projector would have been much better. So this is a different kind, this is most likely an LCD technology. And I know because I used to make these kind of projectors in my previous life. Okay, so you have this pixel matrix here, which is the 4K, 8.8 million data points, pixels. You move these mirrors extremely fast, and we control the light, LED super fast switching light source on a photon level. And that is what actually is making up the small tiny pixels in shades of gray. Yeah?
The same technology as the first guy told us about today, isn't it?
Sorry?
Silverlight. It's the same technology, Silverlight.
They use the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're storing it on glass.
Yeah.
Whereas you're storing it on film.
Yeah.
I mean, film can be archival, but you have to watch it really carefully. There's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts about making film really archival. Most film tends to decay, colour film has a way of life, but the black and white film should last. No need to process it very quickly.
I mean, there is a photochemical process to develop the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after you write, there is a process to develop.
You can get that wrong. I mean, a lot of people can get that wrong.
Yeah, but our job is to get it right. And again, that is actually automatically verified when you do the read back and you find the error rates on reading back every single bit stream. Yeah. Okay, so here's another video for you.
The world's amount of digital data is rapidly increasing. According to IDC, the world's digital universe is doubling every 2 years. For cultural, commercial, or legal reasons, some of these data require long-term preservation and secure future access. What kind of technology do you use to preserve your most valuable digital data? Hard drives, optical disks, the cloud, magnetic tape or LTO? Did you know that all of these technologies have a limited lifetime? As an example, more than 1 of 10 hard drives fails within 4 years. To keep the data alive and accessible, repetitive migrations are needed. But what is data migration? Data migration is the process of transferring data from one physical medium to another. It is considered best practice to do this every 3 to 5 years. Relying on endless migrations is costly over time. You also risk that valuable data is lost or corrupted. Sometimes it goes seriously wrong. Hardware failure is actually the most common cause for loss of digital data. In more than 8 of 10 cases, data is lost due to hardware failure, software corruption, or human errors. This illustrates how fragile digital data is. Looking back in history, information has been stored in physical form for centuries. On stone, on papyrus, on paper, and on photosensitive film. In the digital world, we have no storage medium with the same durability. This results in a never-ending spiral of data migrations, which gets more costly and time-consuming as volume grows. Our vision is to reshape digital preservation. We use a storage medium with truly proven long-term qualities. Since the photographic process was introduced in 1839, photosensitive film has been used to preserve images and motion pictures. We convert photosensitive film into a digital storage medium. Digital data is written as pixels onto high-resolution 35mm film. Each pixel can hold binary codes, zeros and ones. The binary codes can be decoded back to the original file, similar to any other digital storage technology. The difference is that we use a storage medium truly suited for long-term preservation.
I have a dream.
Our technology is applicable for all types of digital data, such as documents, photos, moving images, sound files, and entire databases. All file formats of any size are accepted. You also have full flexibility in storing human-readable text or images alongside the digital data. The software used to decode the binary codes is open source, and future generations can read in clear text on the film how to retrieve the files. We enable migration-free and future-proof preservation of data on the only preservation medium with truly proven long-term qualities. And as a true digital technology, the solution is totally integrated with your IT environment. By cooperating with preservation experts, such as the National Archives of Sweden and Germany, we have developed a turnkey solution that provides you with a secure and migration-free preservation medium that allows you to easily search for and access your files, and designed to ensure future access to your files with no dependence on specific technologies or vendors. We provide a secure and future-proof way of safeguarding valuable digital data. Piql, physically present, future preserved. To learn more, go to piql.com.
So Again, the very unique storage component, I have to underline clearly, you cannot hack this. It's completely immutable because it's written, it's developed, it's permanent. Non-magnetic, non-electronic, non-electric, immune. Sorry?
Hackable, because I used to do a lot of film manipulations, and I guess I could go into one of these things, manipulate the content of the film and re-photograph it, and you'd be hard to tell that the re-photographed film had been altered.
Fake news.
You cannot copy this film. No, it's too high resolution, so there is really no technology that enables you to make a contact copy of this film. And I mean, the frame which is there, I mean, you can destroy it, but you wouldn't have a clue of what you destroy. So also very important these days, the immunity to radiation. So that's also why immune to cyber attacks. It's migration-free permanent. So this film is ideally suited for storage of cold data. This solution is really not suited for storage or being a backup of transactional data.
What about fire? How does it respond to fire?
You can burn it.
Yeah.
So you need to protect it reasonably well from fire, but it can stand a lot of heat.
So before you go on, you go back one slide. What are you selling as a physical device or service?
Service.
So if I buy your product, I never actually see the film.
No.
Okay, thank you for clearing that.
Yep.
The second question I have is, you used Mona Lisa a couple of times as an example. You show the scan of the Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa is 3D. There's depth. There's actually another picture behind Mona Lisa. Do you take that into account?
Yes, we can. I mean, if you do a super high resolution 3D scan,
yes,
it's just a bit stream.
I understand.
So we deliver you the same bit stream back.
But that's fine. You can do a 3D scan. What I'm saying is, what is it? They use X-rays and other.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is. But there's that information behind there. Do I have to supply that to you or to store?
Yeah.
Because you're talking about scanning. To me, I'm ignorant of this. When you scan, to me, it's like you scan what's on the front, right?
Yeah.
But all the data that's behind it that we're learning about Da Vinci's painting and so forth, that's extra information. So I have to do that.
That is a very, very good point. And the point with the Mona Lisa is just to show that you take it from a picture to a bit stream.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we are doing preservation of a lot of digitized art of the Norwegian National Museum. And they are doing like different kinds of photographic techniques from different angles. They are doing X-rays. They are doing infrared, right? So they are, so they are uncovering the layers, and all that is packed into a package, which is delivered to us as just any bit stream. And we make sure that is packed onto the film and can be unpacked in the future.
Understood. So basically, we're giving you all the different bits of information along the way. Okay. The whole scanning part is throwing me off.
That's more conceptually to visualize that you take something and you scan it and you convert it to a bit stream, and that bit stream is converted to a QR code.
Thank you.
But it's a good question.
So if you go back to the one more. So against radioactive radiation.
Coming to it. I'm coming to a very specific slide on that.
Okay. I'll wait.
Sorry?
You're doing a lot more resolution than 4K. You mentioned earlier on the 4K high resolution image, but that's not a very high resolution image, is it? 4K.
We can do a visual photographic representation of up to 4K, but if you do a file, it can be a million K.
Yeah, okay, yes.
Yeah. Also, we did a project with the Norwegian Defense Research Establishment. I mean, they are the ones that really assess risks for Norway when it comes to data to be stored over time. So inside threats, fire, water, chemical compounds, microorganisms, nuclear radiation, electromagnetic sabotage, espionage, and any kinds of cyber threats. And they basically say there's nothing more secure out there as a data storage medium. You just need to protect it because it can burn, right? It can be stolen. So they say, put it in a secure mountain vault. Here comes the answer on the radiation thing. So we want, I mean, as an engineer, I know by heart that it's immune to radiation, but I think it's good that somebody else tells it because you wouldn't trust me. So we engaged with the Norwegian Institute for Energy Technology. They had a nuclear reactor outside Oslo. They decided to close it down a few years back. Now whole Norway is talking about starting nuclear reactors again. But anyway, so they wrote the same data set to hard disk, to magnetic tape, to USB and solid state, and the Piql film, and exposed it to deadly doses of electromagnetic radiation in the reactor. And they know it's deadly because one of their employees went in there to kill himself, and he died like this. Anyway, so the only thing that survived was the film. Everything else was dead and gone. You couldn't even connect it.
I totally understand what you're saying, but that imposes that it's only for a regional disaster with that amount of radiation. Because if it's worldwide,
and we're not around anyway, who cares?
Who cares?
Right?
Yeah.
So, since we're talking about radiation, right, let's say it is exposed to some form of radiation. Does the film become radioactive?
That's not a good one.
Right? So, boom, there is, so the film is there, boom, there is a nuclear situation. It's safe enough now that we can go and retrieve the film to read, okay?
Yeah.
Is the film itself radioactive?
It can be polluted as anything exposed to radioactive radiation, right?
So, then
but
somebody has to be careful to read it back, because otherwise the physical film itself has radiation on it. Yeah.
Well, it's not organic material, right? Okay. Yeah. But there could be some pollution, yes.
Okay.
But you guys have extremely good questions.
Okay. I get it.
I told you they're good.
It's wonderful for archiving, wonderful for offloading code. But you also mentioned disaster recovery.
Yeah.
Now, for disaster recovery, performance is essential.
Yeah.
So, how performant is Piql? So,
yeah.
What's about the performance of reading data and writing data?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. Okay. Yeah. I just want to show you a little film about the radiation part.
It is likely in the future that a storage location with digital data is exposed to large amount of nuclear radiation. This project is a project Piql is doing together with the Norwegian Computing Center and the Norwegian Institute for Energy Technology. And together we are developing a unique authenticity feature that we are putting on the Piql film. So we want to compare the Piql film with these other digital storage mediums as hard disks and tapes and memory sticks, and see do they survive when we give them a big dose of nuclear radiation.
So first we take the Piql box, and Piql box is loaded into the room where the gamma ray source is by just being transported on a belt that passes in front of the source. We use this little device, which is actually just acrylic glass, to measure the amount of radiation that the Piql box has received. Actual film can handle a lot of radiation, especially the base of the film, the PET, can handle huge doses, several hundreds of kilograms. So my expectation is that the box will be very deteriorated before the film is broken.
The results of this project clearly shows that the Piql film survives the amount of radiation it's exposed to. We also tested the box and the label using the same techniques. And now that we are also testing for radiation, we kind of test the whole complete set of different threat scenarios to ensure that buyers of this product will know that they get a premium storage product. But the other digital storage mediums are completely wiped out. All data is lost and we are not able to get any of the data, original data back. But on the Piql film, everything comes back 100%.
All right. And then we also did a very exotic test because we have this vault in the Arctic, and we wanted to find out how a mountain vault, could there be something in that mountain vault of chemical, biological or radiological aspects that would damage the film or the data. And this team from the Norwegian Defence Research Establishment, they found the first single one coronavirus of the steps to the National Theatre stage in Oslo, so they know what they're looking for. And nothing can harm the film. The film is so robust. I mean, there is bacteria, there is virus, there is chemistry in a mountain, but nothing could harm the film.
No solvents that work on this stuff.
Sorry?
There are no solvents that work on this stuff. You can't dissolve it in ether or petrol or something like that.
I mean, if you put the film in petrol, I never tried that, but why would you do that?
Well, because if I wanted to sabotage the installation, rather than using high levels of nuclear radiation, I might just chuck a bottle of...
and burn it and explode it, yeah?
Solvent at it.
Ah. You could. I don't know if petrol, I mean, then put it in petrol.
Maybe David, you're saying if you put this thing in some form of acid, will it go away?
Well, no, I just used organic solvent. I mean, I didn't particularly use petrol. It was much more vicious ones. But, you know, there's an awful lot. A lot of things dissolve plastics.
Yeah. Here comes an important aspect, and that is a very unique feature of the film. It's really self-contained, and I explain this with us Norwegians because, you know, we love nature and we have a tough winter, but we like still to be out. So we have a high mountain plateau in the southern part of Norway. It takes 5 days and nights to cross it on ski in the winter. And what we do to do that, we pack everything in the backpack we need to survive. You know, food, warm clothes, emergency things, etc. So we have everything with us so we can survive. The same is on the film. It has everything on it in human-readable, clear text that you need to understand what it is and how you deal with it and how you get your data back.
You mean that the first frame of the algorithm?
The first frame is a very clear text that explains you what to do, and there's a lot of documents included with instructions.
What language do you write?
I mean, we could write it in any language. We have done a huge project for GitHub, and they wrote it in 6 languages.
You can't guarantee that the language that's readable is better.
I'm sorry, but I think you're going into a lot of rabbit holes, you know, system.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
You know, there are many scenarios, but I like what you're doing because it reminds me what they did with the Voyager, you know, the science.
Yeah.
Where you put some kind of code and you have to find it. If you look at what the guys are doing at the Royal History Museum, a prominent institution in the UK, that's exactly what they're doing with tablets, you know, or clay tablets from 5,000 years ago. And they're able to figure out what's going on.
So the most important things, right, is that you have all the information you need to convert the QR code back to the original file. So that source code is there, all the instructions. So basically what you need in the future is a light source that shines through the film, a magnifying glass, a camera that captures the light, which is the QR code, and a computer that can interpret the QR code. And everything that you need is there.
So, sorry, I want to understand what you said before, but so the header of the film, right at the beginning, you basically do the same thing, light magnifying glass, and it tells you what that format is, and maybe how to build a machine or whatever it is. That's what you said, right?
A machine, just a magnifier.
It even includes, yes, but you know, you can do it manually, and I will show you that as well. But if you want to build a machine, the instruction is there how to build a machine.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
So right at the beginning, so long as you can have light and a pretty good magnifying glass, I'm sure,
yeah,
it will tell you how to read it from a software perspective, and then it will tell you how to build the machine in order to read the rest of them. Got it. Thank you.
And now we've been working for a few years actually, and that will be released on the film very soon. We have developed a virtual machine, which is actually defined in pure mathematics. So you eliminate your language problem. If you can count in the future, you can understand this. Written in ANSI C, very basic primitive, but a virtual machine that eliminates the need for any specific computing device or any dependency or any processor or any operating system. Of course, the whole thing here makes the solution very resilient against development and obsolescence of technology, interfaces, etc. But we do something more. Because, I mean, you can solve the hardware problem, the interface problem, but you need to also to solve the file format problem. So what we do, and that's in our software service, we convert files to best practice open source file formats. So we don't preserve a .doc file, but we convert it to Adobe/A, because then we can include the Adobe/A file format description, which is an open source license-free format, and we can include the Open Reader, the Adobe Reader. And the virtual machine supports running the Adobe Reader so that you can render a document in the future, right? So if you then have a light source, if you have a magnifying glass, if you have a camera, and if you have a computer, you are able, everybody here would be able to actually reproduce those data.
Can I just get back quickly to one thing? Because I think we've been going a lot here about 1,000 years from now, etc. But you're a company and you're building a solution to solve business problems, which is long-term archival, but you're looking at archival in 20, 50, 100 years from now, which means that you're looking at selling that to organizations, companies, and so on. So we can probably assume that in 20, 50 years from now, we should be able to read the film exactly like we're able to do with films and other microfiche and whatever, which are from 100 years ago, right? First thing. And second is that to the challenge that you have, or that you heard about film burning and so on, nothing prevents you of making 2 or 3 copies and spreading them to different places, right?
Exactly.
So I don't know what is the...
No, exactly. And I mean, it started with the idea to preserve for long term, but we see now more and more relevance to protect data for tomorrow. And I mean, to come back to your questions about the operational resilience and the speed, etc. If you are painted into a corner, you lost all your data, all your systems are down, you are painted into a corner, you have mud up to your neck, lights are off, machines in the factory are down, then our proposal is to take the bare minimum that you can get yourself up and running. Not the backup of everything, because that doesn't make sense on this medium, but the bare necessities that you can start your factory, you can get your people to work, you can switch the lights on. That's our message. And the same level, the same for the society level, you know, infrastructure, utilities, electrical grid. Imagine the problem in Ukraine when they have to rebuild their electrical grid without any documentation. And then the writing speed is 50 megabytes per second. The reading speed is 25. So, I mean, a terabyte of data takes a few hours, but the most important things in your life is not petabytes of data. Okay. So, the longevity and the self-contained basically completely eliminates the need to migrate data. And I think you all have experienced that copying data from a phone to another, from a PC to another, you are losing data, data are getting corrupt. And with the film, you write it today, take it out tomorrow, 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, it's guaranteed to be the same authentic file. Okay, so behind the scenes, which you don't see, there is machinery. So we build machinery equipment to write. So this is our black magic. This is our proprietary thing. This is where the bitstream enters, and we convert that to QR codes. We modulate the lights on the photon level, and we do this with a lot of forward error correction algorithms, with a lot of redundancy, so that you can scratch the films, you can cut out frames, you can step on it. It's very robust. And I thought initially, well, this is a long-term storage medium, so it doesn't have to be read back too many times. But we did a read-back test, and we could read back a film 2,500 times. Try that with a tape.
So what is the 25 megabyte
per second.
Is when it's in the machine, right?
In the machine.
So how much time does it take before someone with you guys...
Coming to that as well. Here is the reader. The reader is the completely different thing. It's built on off-the-shelf component. It's non-proprietary. It's based on open source because our philosophy is that you are not dependent on us or our machines to read back the data. But as you rightly mentioned, there are other film scanners in the world which are scanning normal film, which can be used to scan this machine. Okay, around this and on top of this, and we realized we had this need to have this a few years ago because people love the technology, but they didn't really understand it. So now we developed a software service around it, Piql Connect. Yes?
How big is that box, the Piql box?
Remember those old freezers?
Yeah.
Something like that size.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. The reels are quite big. They are like a 40 centimeter in diameter, 3,317 feet, 950 meter. So Piql Connect is a modern SaaS platform which actually is connecting you, our client, to the system where you just ingest data, and you can also have access to online storage, of course. Piql Connect is running in the Azure cloud environment on servers in Norway. And also that platform has a lot of value-added functionality for data protection, archival, and preservation. So
am I correct? That's what you're actually selling?
That's what we're selling. That's what you are buying.
That's what I'm buying.
Yeah. Okay. So we have made it on purpose to deploy this in Norway because energy in Norway is renewable. Norway is a reasonably well-trusted democracy. Coming back to your questions about all these crazy things. But it can be deployed on other countries or on-premise as well. Very easy to use. The whole idea is to make it stupid simple to use to get your data in and to do your work. And it can easily be connected through APIs to other infrastructure. And you can also follow the whole production journey. So when you have your data, you can actually submit the film to production, and then you get messages and feedback all the way. And now the film is shipped to you, it's shipped to the local vault, it's shipped to the Arctic.
So what is it's Azure Cloud?
Yeah.
Is there an S3 interface, or what is the...
Not yet S3, but we have some requests for that, so we will develop that as well. But there is APIs. So what you see is a browser on your computer. Behind the scenes, it's the writer, it's the film, it's the box, it's the vault, and it's the reader, where we always, as I told you, read back every single reel, every single file. Every checksum is verified against what was sent us. So when we put this film in the vault, we know that it's good to be stored for tomorrow or for eternity.
And that's part of the service I buy?
That's part of the service you buy.
What else do I get?
You get automatic health status of your files to check they are readable, to normalize to convert them to open source file formats, check for any virus, check for any compliance.
Okay, let me change the question a little bit. So when I buy your Piql Connect, you make one copy of the file?
Up to you. You decide. You decide.
So I have to pay more if I want more.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, but you store at least one copy in your vault.
Yeah. Or but you can decide. You can decide if you want it back. I mean, we have clients that wants to store themselves.
And not in your vault.
Not in our vault.
Okay.
And we also have vault partners globally. So we have a secure vault in Norway, and we have this in the Arctic, and then our global partners also have vault. But you can say, I want my film back to myself.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when somebody stores it in your vault, am I paying you a monthly fee like I have to pay for my storage unit?
Yes. Okay. APIs integrates with third-party solutions, and here comes the access time again, right? If you store it in a mountain vault, like in the Arctic, there is time to go in, time to take it out, there is SLAs. when we integrate, this is a Norwegian invention, the AutoStore, a three-dimensional grid of bins where we store the pickle box. And here we store Piql Connect knows exactly which file is on what film globally. This vault knows where actually the location of every film is. So when you request a retrieval of a file, a message goes to this system, find the right bin with the right pickle box, brings it to the operator puts it on the reader. So in best case, you could see like 10-15 minutes before you have your first file back. That's maybe answering your question. Maybe too much details, but it can integrate with other solutions, interface to Piql Connect. Piql Connect is sending the files to the writer. The film is processed, developed. It has to be developed to be visible and permanent. Then the film is going into the vault, and when you want the retrieval, you just request that retrieval from your own system or from Piql Connect.
So when you say client solution, you're talking about some sort of backup software like a 𝗣𝗏𝗃 or?
Yeah, could be.
Okay. Next question. You talk a lot about resilience. So I've now bought your Piql Connect. Your data goes through Azure Cloud to your side, and you're going to do your thing. What happens if it breaks down a bit along the way? No, I mean, you're using hardware, you're using proprietary hardware, right? So I put all of this into Piql Connect. I have some reliance on the fact that you've got it, right? You start developing your film and writing to it, and then all of a sudden your machine fails for whatever reason, and it's hardware, you'll fail. At what point do you tell me that it's done? And what point do you release it from Azure?
Again, very good question. So you can follow the whole journey all the way. Okay. So it's only when the data has been confirmed received in the vault, if we are storing it, or shipped to you if you want to store it yourself, we potentially delete it from online. But you can also decide to keep it online if you like. And there you can decide to keep all data. You can decide to keep the metadata only so that you can search and find and request retrieval. Or people that wants to have their data confidentially can only have the piqlFilm ID.
Understood, okay.
So that you
is everything encrypted end to end?
All the journey is Azure encrypted. I mean, following everything that is done in Azure. The transfers are encrypted internally. When the data goes into the film, you can also encrypt your data. We don't encrypt yet in the system, but there is some interest. But we did a test for the Ministry of Defense in Brazil. They actually have certified the piqlFilm as an official cyber defense weapon. But they sent us encrypted files and the decryption software. So we wrote the encrypted files. We didn't have a clue what it was, and the decryption software, which was an open software, and we sent it back. And they read back the encrypted files and the decryption software, and they had the key to unlock. So I mean, you can send us encrypted data. So you can use this service to protect business critical and society critical data, as I mentioned. You can use it to create an archive, to establish taxonomy, to extract metadata, to do value-added services like AI to do OCR, to let's say you have a motion picture to identify people, places, objects. You can add a lot of value to added services. And the ultimate preservation solution, where we convert all these files to an open source preservation format. Do you want to see the readback? Anyone interested in how the data is read back in the future?
Sure.
Piql provides a secure and future-proof way of safeguarding valuable digital data. We use a preservation medium known for its outstanding long-term capabilities, black and white 35mm film, which we've converted into a digital storage medium capable of preserving any digital file. When you need access to a file preserved on piqlFilm, we use the Piql Reader and our open-source decoding software to recover the original file. But you're actually not dependent on our technology to get back your data. Any compatible digital film scanner can be used as an alternative to the Piql reader. We'll now demonstrate how a file preserved with Piql can be retrieved by even simpler means: a magnifying glass, or in this case an off-the-shelf microscope, a digital camera, and a computer. These are all tools we assume will exist in some shape or form in the future. The starting point is a film strip with digital data that needs to be recovered as readable computer files. In our case, the file we want to recover is a picture of the Mona Lisa painting by Leonardo da Vinci. The picture is preserved in digital format within one film frame. Instead of using a digital film scanner like the Piql reader, we'll use a microscope to recover the file. We place the film strip under the microscope. The file we want to recover is preserved as pixels or data points within one frame. Due to the low resolution of the camera on the microscope, we need to split the frame into multiple pictures. This can be avoided by using a higher resolution camera and lens. The individual pictures now need to be stitched together into one, representing the same frame as on the Piql film. We use the open source software ImageJ for this. We use our open source decoding software, which is written in human-readable text on the film, to convert the pixels or data points back into a binary file, that is, ones and zeros. The source code is compiled into a computer program, which then reads the stitched picture of the frame and generates the computer file. This regenerated file is the exact original file as it was preserved, in this case, a TIFF file. To be able to interpret and render the original TIFF file, we've included another open source software and file format description on the Piql film, the TIFF viewer software. This software is compiled into an executable program. We can now display a perfect and original version of the Mona Lisa picture with no loss of data integrity or authenticity. This demonstrates that data preserved with Piql technology can be retrieved in the future regardless, without any technology or vendor lock-in. The method shown in this demonstration is time-consuming. The use of a digital film scanner or a better digital camera will make the process easier. Assuming continued technological development, future generations will have access to more sophisticated tools than what we've used for the purpose of this example. No one can truly predict what the future brings, but we do know that you're not dependent on us to be able to read back your data in the future. Piql, physically present, future preserved.
Okay, so a very distinct set of value proposition, which I think you remember by now: cannot be hacked, cannot be deleted, cannot be modified, cannot be destroyed by any radiation or electromagnetic weapons, has these unique longevity properties. Retrieval is independent of specific technology and vendors, and it has the lowest carbon footprint of any data storage technology around. We also have a very holistic service journey, because we learned when we started on this for the preservation domain, we learned that a lot of the data in the world is still in physical form. Documents, manuscripts, monuments. So we help to digitize anything physical, anything analog, all the way from microfilm, microfiche, motion picture film, photos, videos, all the way to large monuments in 3D. And once you have them in a digital form, we can also add the value with a lot of modern AI services. Like I mentioned, when you have a motion picture, we can extract information about the people, the places, the object. So you get a lot more metadata that adds value to your content, and so that you can more easily search and find in the future.
So why wouldn't you do that before you send that information to you, as opposed to writing it and then reading it back for the search?
Because you want to have the metadata with the data on the film.
I understand, but you were saying with AI you can identify people in the motion film. Wouldn't you do that before you send that to you?
You can do it both. You can do it before outside with a lot of different tools for a lot of different things, or you can do it in a more limited way inside Piql Connect. Yeah. So when you get the data into Connect, you can decide what you keep online and what you keep offline on the Piql film. You can decide if you want to keep it yourself, in the local Piql vault or in the Arctic. But you can still retrieve it whenever it is from Piql Connect. So you can have one copy under your own bed. You can have one copy with us, you can have one copy with 𝗣𝗏, and you can still retrieve all 3 of them through Piql Connect, other than that you need to have a reader locally or you send the film to us.
So looking at all of this, what is your main customer? Is it government? Is it companies? Is it people?
We have not yet, it's for institutions and corporations, we have not yet presented this technology for individuals, but we are getting private customers as well. I will show you some examples of clients soon. So the way we go to market is that we started building some years ago a global network of Piql partners. So it's a franchise model, and they wear a Piql cap and a Piql t-shirt. They help to build the brand and the trust. And then we have resellers, which is operating as themselves, reselling our services. And now we're entering to the space of B2B partners, because now we have Piql Connect, the SaaS service, and then we can easily integrate with independent software vendors that have their own systems, their own solutions. And of course, very good for us, because then we can reach thousands of clients. A lot of distinct features. You will get the presentation compared with other technologies. And you asked about c𝗂𝗶𝗁. Well, I'm an engineer. 15 minutes. I know how hard it is to build something that works, that is reliable, and that is industrial at scale. I think that is one of the big challenges of c𝗂𝗶𝗁. And of course, having a lot of data spread on many glass plate, it will be a challenge.
Just a quick, you go back one slide. The things in red are unreadable, so at least for me, it's like, so people get this slide.
This one.
Okay, but you know.
Yeah, I agree. And I said if it was a DLP projector, it would.
Take it with you, Max.
I agree. Anyway, I mean, we are not faster, smaller, cheaper. We are focusing completely differently on the data security, integrity, authenticity, and the future access. We are not the commodity player. We are for people to have a perspective about their ultimate security, or have a time perspective, which is a bit in the horizon. Here come some examples. You asked about examples. Vatican Library, some of their oldest manuscripts are 2,000 years old. We can keep them for them another 2,000 years. We have. I mean, these are clients. Czech Radio, second oldest radio station in Europe. Anyone knows the oldest one? No. It's BBC. They're celebrating 100 years. They have their golden treasures. One of the golden treasures is one of the last radio speeches of Albert Einstein. And I don't have time to play it for you, but this speech was made in the early 50s. And he's saying things about the world which is so true even today. And I use this example because many people from the film industry, they can understand you can have a picture on the film, but they don't understand how you can have audio. And I met one lady that she was an old-timer from Hollywood, and she said, I'm listening to your film, I cannot hear anything. But it's a bit strange.
Sorry, I'm just going to ask about the library. You don't need to go back. Have you stored some of their information, or
some, all? Not all. Some of their most precious, valuable manuscripts.
Thank you.
Yeah. And the thing is, the Vatican Library, they don't spend money, right? So we had to find sponsors. So we didn't.
That's a political conversation.
National Archives, Mexico, Brazil, Peru, National Museum. The Norwegian National Museum is digitizing all their art. And this is a very famous painting, The Scream by Edvard Munch. And they preserve it on Piql Film for 2 reasons. Because if you search online for this painting, you will find 1,000 variants with 1,000 faces, 1,000 colors. They want to make sure they have the original, and they want to make sure that they have preserved it as it is today, because in 100 years this painting will have faded. National Library of Hungary, United Arab Emirates, corporate history, corporates also. High Court, the biggest preservation project so far in India, 50 million legal records have been preserved on Piql Film. Land records is important to keep safe and protected.
If you store an image in the TIFF, say the JPEG or whatever you call it, you're completely dependent, say in 100 years, there will be something that could still read TIFF. You'd have to have some machine that could read a TIFF file, read the JPEG file, is that right?
That's the point with this conversion to open source formats, because we included, the example was actually a TIFF file. We include the TIFF file format description, and we include the TIFF viewer. So it's on the film itself. So you don't need anything more than what is on the film.
So it's built into the film?
It's on the film.
Right, so long as you can read that and decompile or recompile, I guess.
Yeah.
In total, how much data have you, I don't even know what the right term is, stored, exposed, or written, I guess. Let's just think about that.
How much data do you have?
Yeah, I mean, you will see from this example, it's a huge variation.
Yeah, but I mean total.
Total?
We're talking about
hundreds of terabytes. Hundreds of terabytes.
Hundreds of terabytes.
Yes.
Right. Yes, Piql. It means with all the customers that you have. With all the customers that you have, it's hundreds of terabytes?
Yeah.
Hundreds of terabytes.
I would have expected much more.
Well, we are just started. We have just started going commercially. So, I mean,
okay.
You have never heard about this before, right? So, electrical grid, nuclear waste. I mean, that's important to store. Medical images for the lifetime of the patient. The biggest bank in Brazil, the biggest company in South America. Health records from Norway. Use ESA. I know 10 minutes. I saw it. And actually, you might have heard about the seed vault. They're storing all the data about the seeds together with the seeds in the seed vault. GitHub has done a snapshot of all their open source repositories, including the open source software for Piql. That's quite interesting. So I said initially that information only lasts if we make it last, and we make it last for tomorrow and forever whatsoever. That's our promise. I don't think we have time to... I have some slides on the Arctic World Archive, but I guess you have a lot of questions.
This question first, and then you answer my earlier question. So, who are your target customers? Who are you targeting?
I mean,
those are your customers already.
Yes, but these are examples of...
Yes,
I mean...
Who are you going after now?
We are going after...
The types of customers.
Yeah, so... public memory institutions. Like galleries, libraries, archives, and museums, GLAMs, public memory. Corporate memory when it comes to the preservation aspects and archival aspect. But we see more and more for large corporations on protecting business critical data. Business critical data like source code for their operational technology, intellectual property, operational procedures. We're preserving for a Norwegian insurance company basically everything they need to get their operations room up and running.
So
if they're...
What I'm hearing is that we're not talking about data that they necessarily want to archive and delete because of regulation. This is stuff that they want to preserve forever. You use the word memory many times. So this is stuff that is historic. It's not something that is necessarily operational in terms of there might be a legal aspect to it or...
No, that's exactly what I'm saying right now. Operational technology. I mean...
we get back to a conversation we had earlier this morning about the more data you store, the more legal risk you face.
But sorry to interrupt you, but what prevents you from storing data for 30 years and then deleting or burning the...
Because it's there.
If you burn it, it's gone.
Listen, for example, MasterCard. Join Steiner, who's the CTO of MasterCard. We've had annual conversations, we've had annual arguments about keeping data. She wants to keep data for 7 years and delete it forever because she does not want the legal liability thereafter. If the court says, show me the information, and you have it and you don't produce it, you automatically lose and you're being fined, right? So, from a technology perspective, I've argued with her that, well, you should keep everything forever because there's value in the data to win this point. But certain regulatory requirements and business requirements says that you really shouldn't keep it, right? So, but what I'm hearing from Rune, and this is why I come back to the word memory, These are things you do want to keep forever, and you're deliberately keeping it forever, because it's worth keeping forever. So
I'd say that it's there are two aspects to that. Maybe we need to take that offline, but one aspect is that you need to have some kind of governance over your data, and so as the organization, you decide based on the regulation and based on your internal policies what you store where for what time. So that's perfectly fine if the lady says that she wants to keep data for 7 years. It's perfectly fine, and then she has no rationale whatsoever to use that technology now. But if you need to store record for like insurance policies or whatever,
that's the point I've just made. That's the point I just made. So
this
is really for stuff that you genuinely, deliberately want to keep for a very, very long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
but again, nothing prevents you. You can have different lifetimes, right? So you don't need to store something forever. You can have 30 years or 50 years.
Okay, so to your point, can you answer that question? In 7 years' time, I want my data deleted. How do you get rid of it?
Have to delete. So there's two aspects. I mean, the GDPR, things like that. I mean, that's your responsibility what you store, right? Because we don't see your data. We cannot.
It's in your vault. How do you? So
but you can. I mean, you can do it two ways. You can delete all the metadata so that you can never find them. The film can still exist, but you can never find them. That's one
still
aspect.
Legally exposed, but keep going.
Or you have to physically destroy the film.
So this is where the fire comes in, right, David?
or his solvents. He could be a liquidator.
Fair enough. Your answer's great. My question earlier, which you said you were going to come back to. So the question I had earlier, which you said you were going to come back to, you didn't answer it. So
okay.
You said you've invested 45 million. Where does 45 million euros come from?
Norwegian Research Council, Innovation Norway, Eurostar, which is a part of Eureka in Europe, Horizon 2020, and some other smaller research programs in Norway.
So these are all grants, am I correct? Essentially?
Grants.
Okay, so are you intending, as you commercialize this, are you intending to raise money?
Yes. Do you want to invest?
I mean, I can certainly put you in touch with somebody, but multiple people. But
yeah, no. We are raising capital to commercialize now, because now we have a very holistic solution. Actually, now in a week you will see that Piql is changed. New logo, new website, everything is new. So we're revitalizing the whole thing because we have been through our development journey. Now all our focus is commercialization and scaling. And now we have an opportunity to scale, because before we had machines and films, and that is all fine, but it doesn't scale. You need a tool to get in touch with the clients so clients can easily understand and use. That's the software platform.
So in your examples, there was none. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
First question, maybe I missed it, but on what basis you are pricing the solution?
Yes, so
second, it's just for Joe, of course. Do you have protection against wildfire? Because north of Sweden, every summer there is wildfire, north of Canada. Even in our article, maybe we can have wildfires now with the climate change.
In this vault, it's stored inside the permafrost, 300 meter in and 300 meter down, so it's pretty safe for fires. That's a proper vault. You can. There is a deposit ceremony. We will have... because we're working very closely with UNESCO to preserve the world's document heritage, so they will make a deposit. So that's a nice field trip to make. No, pricing. I mean, Piql is not cheap. Piql is for those that have. So it's a very cheap insurance policy if you want to really protect your most critical, business critical assets. And if you have a perspective which is a bit on the horizon, nothing is cheaper. But if you're comparing with normal cloud storage and commodity services, you will be wiped out with Piql's prices, because we are starting like right to piqlFilm. It's like starting at 19, 20 euros per gigabyte.
How much?
19 to 20 euros per gigabyte. So this is not a commodity storage. This is for things that have a value and that you want to keep for time, or you want to have your insurance policy.
And how much does it cost when you keep it in your vault? You said you want money from me every month.
That's not much. That's 3 euros per film or something. I don't really remember exactly, but it's not much. Yes, you had a question? No? Question? He asked the question.
We had a presentation this morning from another company, and they told us that they were already talking to you guys. So it kind of feels, we had a discussion over Teams quickly. It kind of feels a bit like VHS versus Betamax. So why do you want to do both of them?
No, I mean, we have what we have, c𝗂𝗏. You're thinking about c𝗂𝗏, right? Yeah. No, I mean, we have a software platform which is available and running. I think the benefit of c𝗂𝗏, when they make it, I think it will be hard work, but they have a price point which can take much larger volumes of data. There's a lot of aspects around that technology which you can consider yourself, but I think this is a very proven technology. It works, it scales, it's industrial. And to get it to that point, it's been a pain. And I know the pain, and you know, Microsoft have tried to write data in glass, it's a challenge. But if they make it, I mean, we're collaborating with a DNA company which is using Piql Connect, because I think it makes sense. I mean, different application, different things make sense.
Also different support, because if you make a copy on the same support, you can put in different location, but with different technology.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, and I mean, we are clearly for valuable data. I mean, our price point excludes the huge petabytes, because I mean, for example, we talked to the Hollywood studios. They have like 56 petabytes. I think it was Warner Brothers or something. 56 petabytes of motion picture data. It's just too much money. I mean, nothing is cheaper over time, guaranteed, but it's just too money to come up with.
But in the end, you could, with your platform, become a kind of data management platform for long-term storage, or kind of orchestrating these different kind of media, or, you know.
Yes, we see that's an option, and I mean, we developed a very unique expertise and understanding for the needs and the clients and the solutions. Also, we realized we had to engage upstream to understand, you know, the digitization aspects, how to extract metadata, how to generate value. So there's a lot more around it than the pure storage component.
So in your second or third slide, I wrote this down, and I quote, the ultimate insurance policy for the client's data. You say the word ultimate. The insurance policy was bolded and underlined.
Yep.
If you lose my data, if you corrupt my data, how do you value my data? Because you said it's an insurance policy.
Yeah, I mean, it's an insurance.
When I buy insurance,
yeah,
I can get money back at the current rate to replace my car. But how are you going to be buying insurance?
You get your data back. I mean, ideally, I would like to collaborate with an insurance company, because an insurance company could sell you a cyber protection insurance. And they could say, we can sell you that insurance with a discount if you store your data on piqlFilm, because we know we never have to pay the insurance because you will always be able to get your data back. But you should never store your data only on one copy.
Insurance companies are going to do that, I can tell you that now. I'll talk to you offline about that. Why? So, thank you.
Thank you for a lot of nice questions.